What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another Swift video. In today's video, we're going to be learning all about view builders in SwiftUI, how you can use them and customize to make your own really cool views. So here we are on the Apple developer documentation page for view builders. At a high level glance, they are a special type of annotation where you can actually construct views, hence the name view builder. So we'll take a look at a practical usage of this, and they're really simple, but a powerful concept at scale. So if that all sounds good, don't forget to absolutely smash that like button down below, as well as hit that subscribe and notification bell to stay up to date with future videos. Let's get into view builders with SwiftUI. All right, let's get started by opening up Xcode and creating a new project here. We're going to stick with the app template under iOS. And let's go ahead and give this project a name of ViewBuilder. Make sure your language is set to Swift here, and lifecycle as well as interface both set to SwiftUI. Go ahead and continue and save the project wherever you'd like. We'll toss it onto our desktop. And let's get started by closing up this right panel as well as this left panel to give ourselves a little more room to work. I'll also go ahead and expand our Xcode window here, as well as tap on the resume button to start to load up our preview on the right-hand side. While that's loading, let me also go ahead and just change the preview device here to perhaps a 12 Pro Max. And once this loads, we'll get into the swing of things. So cool, so first things first, in the code, let me actually bump up the font size here. We're gonna go ahead and create a navigation view. And inside this navigation view, I'm gonna go ahead and just toss in a vertical stack where we will be adding a custom view momentarily with our own view builder. But let's also go ahead and give it a navigation title. We'll go ahead and give it a title of view builders, just like that. So what is a view builder? A view builder is the concept in SwiftUI that actually enables the nesting of these views. Where in example, what we have here basically is a vertical stack inside this navigation view. The navigation view actually takes a view builder as well as the vertical stack where you can pass additional views inside of it, and it's going to use it to build out a view. Now, what if we wanted to employ this same concept with our own custom views? Well, that's exactly what we're going to learn today in this video. So I'm going to go ahead and define a custom view right below this, and I'm going to go ahead and call it a alert view. And we'll go ahead and say it's a view. Every single view needs a body, so we'll say some view. And for the time being, let's just go ahead and start it off by putting a label in here just like that. So this alert view is pretty bare bones. It's pretty basic. It's nothing fancy. How do we let this alert view take in a view builder like so? And more importantly, why do I care about doing it this way? Like, what's the benefit that I get? So the benefit is, let's say you wanted to standardize how your custom alerts look throughout your application. You can customize the content of the alert via the view builder, but also allow the alert to always have the same dismiss and confirm options. So let's go ahead and change this alert view to use a view builder. The first thing we're going to do is add these brackets here and have this taken a generic of type view. Now, when we do this, we need to add a custom initializer. The first parameter of this will be annotated at view builder. The parameter name will be content, and this is going to basically take in a closure that returns content with a capital C. This is referring to the genericized parameter here. Then in here, we can go ahead and say self.content will be the result of this closure executed, hence the parentheses. And we want to say self.content, so we'll need to go ahead and retain content just like that. So let's talk about what this is actually doing. So whenever you have a view in SwiftUI with these open, close curly brackets, basically what's going on is you're passing in a closure, and it's in the style of a trailing closure per Swift syntax and language feature. But to actually compute the view, what SwiftUI is doing under the hood is that it is invoking that closure in the initializer, which is pretty clever if you really think about what Apple has really built here. And the beauty of this whole thing is now we have the entire view that is passed in this content, and we can further nest it in the body of this view. So let's say we have a alert. We want the alert to, let's say, be inside of a vertical stack. The first thing inside of it will be the content that we've passed in. And then below that, we're going to want two horizontally stacked buttons for cancel and confirm. So I'm just going to go ahead and drop in a button inside of a H stack. And this one here will be cancel. And perhaps it has a foreground color of red. And then the one on the right of it perhaps will be confirm. I will say this one just has the standard foreground color. Let me also go ahead and bold both this text here as well as this, and perhaps we can move this modifier up onto the text itself. Now, what this is going to let us achieve is every time we create an alert view, we're going to have the same bottom buttons on the alert as well as padding on the content. Let's also go ahead and add a divider here. And I'm also going to give this a background color, border radius, and fixed width. So we're going to first override, rather instead of override, implement the frame modifier. Now I'm just going to go ahead and say this is the current screen dot main dot balance dot size, perhaps divided by 3. I'm also going to go ahead and say that this has a background color. This should be size dot width divided by 3. We're going to also say this has a nice background color of perhaps dot blue. Sometimes you need to do color dot blue for SwiftUI to figure out what you're doing. And then finally, we'll give this a nice little corner radius of perhaps 7 or 8, as well as a little bit of padding. So let's go ahead and use our alert view here before we do a quick recap. So in this vertical stack, we currently don't really have much going on. So let's go ahead and create one of these. So we're going to say alert view. And if you actually open up the parenthesis, you'll see that it just takes in a content closure. So if I hit enter and hit enter again, you'll actually see right off the bat that our view here looks awfully familiar. It looks a lot like the vertical stack or navigation view. So in this actual alert view, what I'm going to go ahead and do is in the alert, we're going to have an image. So it's going to be a system image. And what I'll actually do is open up SF symbols here. And we are going to find a alert style image. So I'm going to search for exclamation mark. And we'll use one of these here. This one down here looks pretty good. So I'll just go ahead and hit Command Shift C to go ahead and copy that out. We'll also go ahead and make this guy resizable, as well as give it a frame with perhaps a width of, let's go with 65 and see what that looks like. And then the same thing for the height here. And then right below this, I'm going to go ahead and add a text. We can go ahead and say here is a custom alert with view builder. And that's really it. Let's go ahead and hit resume on the right-hand side, and let's see what this guy looks like. So not only do we expect to see our content here, and actually the first thing I see here is an error. So let's see what's going on. We don't need this extra comma, but we expect to see the content plus the other stuff in our alert that we've got going on. So here is our custom alert. So our buttons are a little smushed together because our actual width of the alert isn't wide enough. So let's go ahead and say divided by 2 instead of 3. We see our cancel button here. Let's see what happened to our other button. So we've got a H stack. Let me toss a spacer between both of these buttons, between cancel and confirm. And we should see that other button here as well. So I'm not seeing it, but the point being here is that the actual alert has taken on the form of not only the buttons down here, but the view builder allowed us to inject the content up here while maintaining the corner radius. And actually the reason we don't see this confirm button here is because the button color by default matches the background color. So I'll just go ahead and make the color here as white, and you guys will see that show up in a second, just like that. So what's the takeaway here? Well, the takeaway is first that we should add padding onto our H stack, but the actual takeaway is that view builders are a really, really awesome feature in SwiftUI that not only Apple uses to enable views like vertical stacks and horizontal stacks and navigation views, but it's something that you should really leverage to allow for the standardization of your components. So how do we actually leverage a view builder? Well, let's do a quick review. You create your custom view. It'll take in a generic parameter of type view. We just called it locally content. You can actually rename this to be whatever you want. So we can go ahead and call this foo, and we can also go ahead and call that foo, and that works perfectly fine as well, but content is probably more sensible. The initializer here takes a view builder, which is the kind of special sauce in SwiftUI. It's marked with an @ just like that. And the type of it is a closure that takes no parameters, but returns our actual view, which we've called content here. We get the actual view by invoking that closure with a parenthesis, and we hold that view's reference in the actual content here. And then in the body of this alert view itself, we can actually drop in that entire content just like that and standardize any other view aspects you want to do alongside it. The other thing that I'll mention is this is not restricted to one view builder per initializer. So you might have seen, Apple themselves have things such as a label. So a label is a view that takes actually two view builders. It takes both the title here as well as the icon here. So an image as well as a title. So you're fully able to do the same thing. Let's say you want a view builder that takes in, 5 particular views that will get put together in some arrangement for whatever you're trying to do. You can definitely do that, just how Apple leverages it here for the title and icon. The only thing that I'll call out is you probably want argument labels in that case, just so the calling side actually knows which view builder you are passing in actual views and data for. So that is a view builder in a nutshell. Fairly basic concept, but extremely powerful once you scale it up. Not very hard to write at all, and honestly a pleasure to work with. So that's all I've got for you guys in this video. If you haven't liked the video already, don't forget to do so. Helps out a lot. Comment down below if you're using SwiftUI. Do you think view builders are cool? How are you guys making out with your applications? Love hearing about that and the work you guys are doing. And definitely don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, to stick around for daily Swift and iOS videos. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.